Okay, everybody. So, while we're waiting on this to set, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all what I like to do when it comes to cleaning my shotguns. And looks like I'm about out of gun oil here. Just about. All right. So, as far as the barrel goes, there's not really any rust on the barrel. It's a light bit of rust on here. Nothing but a little bit of just rubbing it lightly with a coarse rag. Not what you do not want to do is you do not want to use this. All right, you do not want to use a wire brush or a Brillo pad or anything like that when you're cleaning a firearm, unless it's just a piece of junk firearm that has so much rust on it that you're gonna have to re-blue it anyway. And I can show y'all real quick one that's gonna be like that. That I'm actually you look at this right here. This barrel is, when you first look at it, you'd be like, yeah, that barrel is beyond help. Um, it's a Remington 12 gauge barrel. You look at this end up here, actually looks much better than this end down here, and that's because I took Crisco and my Brillo pad right there. The only reason I did that is because I'm not going to be putting this uh, onto a Remington shotgun. I'm just going to be turning this into a little slam fire. Just a little homemade gun, just a little slam fire 12 gauge. So when you're doing something like that, it really doesn't matter. But other than something like that, you do not want to use a wire brush or a Brillo pad or anything like that on your firearm. You want to use, at the very most, a coarse cloth with uh, a healthy amount of gun oil on it. Um, my particular method is I like to apply the gun oil to the cloth instead of the gun itself. And what that just does is that prevents it from becoming too oiled, because you don't want your gun too oiled. You wind up with double feeds. You'll wind up with crazy things happening that you just don't want happening. There needs to be a little bit of friction in your firearm when you're doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my little makeshift stand here, so I can start using both hands, work on this part here. Um, I've never actually worked on a Stevens Model 30 Series F uh, 12 gauge before, so this was about as far as I was comfortable breaking it down. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research into it, and at a later date, hopefully be able to show y'all at a later date um, how to do a thorough cleaning on the inside here. So for now, let's go ahead and set us up on a little stand to hold our camera, and we'll get at it. Okay, so uh, hopefully y'all can see this. All right, so went ahead and, as y'all seen, I wiped down this barrel. Well, now I like to give everything, wipe everything down twice. On the first time I wipe it down, I like to leave a little bit of excess oil on it. And then when I go to reassemble everything, I'll give it a second wipe down with a dry rag to remove the excess oils. So our barrel has been cleaned and oiled. Next, we're going to move on to our receiver, our pump, and see what we can get going on here. So since I'm running short on our oil right here, okay, so looked around and looks like I am completely out of gun oil, but thankfully what I do have here is some all vegetable Crisco, which sounds kind of strange, but it will work just as well. You just really don't want to put too much of it on your interior. You know, you don't want to get it into your firing mechanism, things like that. It's not going to hurt it, but it does make it a little more difficult next time you clean up. But for exterior work, not a problem at all, which is mainly what we're doing on this particular firearm. Is we're wanting to just get it to pump more smoothly. We're wanting to you know, pretty much just clean an ancient firearm. And I use the term ancient loosely. I mean, this really isn't too old of a gun. It was made in the 70s. I mean, I've got a 1894, I want to say, 7mm German Mauser. So this is by no means an ancient firearm. It's just, it's far from being new. So, you know, we're gonna lube the outside of this thing here up with some Crisco, and let's go ahead and get as much of it as we can here. And I'm doing something right now that you don't really want to do. I'm using a paper towel to clean my guns. I'm doing a few things that aren't really something that you want to do, but will work in a pinch. And I'll be cleaning this gun again once I figure out how to do the full breakdown. So it doesn't really matter at this point. But if you're doing something for a long-term clean, you definitely don't want to be following all my instructions on this video, especially the paper towel. Paper towels, Q-tips, cotton swabs, things of that kind of consistency. You do not want to use those simply because they're fibrous. They'll snag on your interior mechanisms, and the next thing you know, you got some pretty serious jams. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a fairly heavy coat here. it was firing just fine, but it wasn't really wanting to rack that next shell. So I'm thinking it's just really dry. So around the tube area. So we're gonna take and do as much to solve that problem as we can. So, alright. So at this point, we have our receiver. Now, there's something I was going to show you on here. These are not dirt spots. These are just age stains. I'm pretty sure it's probably blood. This was a hunting firearm, so it's probably just blood. So we have our chamber and our lower receiver lubed up pretty good. We've got our barrel lubed up good here. There was a little bit of rust in our B-type bar. I think that's called a sight bar. Had a little bit of rust in there, but that's to be expected. So we got that done. We got this one done. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna oil up this our buttstock bolt. A little bit more Crisco here, and we're gonna oil this really good. And this it's not gonna hurt one bit to go ahead and take that Brillo pad to it, just to remove any kind of rust we've got going on here. You just don't want to go far enough down that you eat into that thread. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and smooth that out. Excuse my voice and clearing my throat so much. I think I've got something caught up in my throat. Might have something to do with me not having my tonsils taken out when I was younger. I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow to go get it checked out. So any of y'all that are praying people, please keep me in your prayers. No judgment if you're not, if you're not a Christian, or if you're not into religion. No judgment here. Just personally, I am. I do consider myself a Christian. Go to the Church of Christ, and like I said, I would just appreciate any prayers. Always help. So go ahead and close that out, and we're gonna take a break so I can go smoke me a death stick.